Skye, let me ask you something uncomfortable.
Already? We haven't even started yet, Aiden.
Exactly. That hesitation, that's the whole episode. Think about the last goal you abandoned. Not the one you're proud of dropping, the one that still bothers you. What actually killed it?
Honestly, I'd say lack of motivation, but I know that's the wrong answer.
It is, and that's the most important thing we're going to establish today. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings are weather. You don't build an empire on weather.
That's what separates the people who talk about discipline from the people who actually have it.
Precisely. So, welcome to English Peak. Today, we're going deep on self-discipline. Not the motivational poster version, the architectural version. How high performers actually construct it, maintain it, and use it as leverage.
And we're going to do it in 3 chapters. Chapter 1, the identity shift that makes discipline automatic. Chapter 2, systems versus goals, and why most people are playing the wrong game. Chapter 3, cognitive environment design, how your surroundings are either compounding your growth or silently draining it.
Plus 5 power concepts baked into the conversation. Real business English that will upgrade how you think and how you speak. Let's go.
Chapter 1. Aiden, I want to push back on something. Everyone says start with tiny habits. James Clear, Atomic Habits, 5 minutes a day. I've heard it 1,000 times. But most people try it and still fail. Why?
Because they're treating the symptom, not the architecture. Tiny habits work, but only when they're attached to an identity shift. That's the first power concept, identity-based behavior. Clear himself says the real question isn't what do you want to achieve, it's who do you want to become. If I tell myself I'm trying to work out, every session is a negotiation. But if I operate from I am someone who trains, the behavior is no longer a decision, it's a confirmation.
That's a completely different psychological contract with yourself.
Exactly, and the same applies to English. The learners who plateau are the ones who say, I'm learning English. The ones who break through say, I am an English speaker. That single reframe changes which content you consume, how you show up in conversations, even how you react to making mistakes.
Because mistakes stop being failures and start being data points.
Now you're thinking like a high performer.
Okay, Chapter 2, Systems versus Goals. And Aiden, I want to get specific here because I think people misunderstand what a system actually is.
Good, because a system is not a to-do list. A system is a set of non-negotiable daily inputs that make the output statistically inevitable. That's the second power concept, input sovereignty. You cannot fully control outcomes. You can control inputs with total precision. The performer who obsesses over the outcome, I need to be fluent by June, it's fragile. One bad week and the whole structure collapses.
But the person who controls their inputs, 30 minutes of immersive English every morning, vocabulary review before bed, one spoken conversation per week, that person is anti-fragile.
Anti-fragile, third power concept. Nassim Taleb's framework, things that don't just withstand chaos, but actually grow stronger because of it. Your system should be built so that setbacks feed it rather than break it. Miss a day, the pressure you feel the next morning becomes fuel. That's anti-fragility in practice.
I love that, because most discipline advice is about resistance. Resist Netflix, resist procrastination. But you're describing something more sophisticated. You're designing a system where resistance becomes irrelevant.
That's exactly it. When your inputs are locked in, willpower becomes a secondary resource, not the primary engine.
Which leads perfectly into Chapter 3, Cognitive Environment Design. Skye, be honest, what does your workspace look like right now?
Don't attack me like this on a podcast, Aiden. Because here's the truth, and this is the fourth power concept, cognitive residue. Every object in your visual field that is unrelated to your current goal is consuming a small percentage of your mental bandwidth. A cluttered desk doesn't just look messy. It is actively reducing your executive function.
Gloria Mark at UC Irvine has the research on this. Every time you're pulled out of deep focus, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully recover that state. 23 minutes.
That is not a distraction. That is a tax on your cognition.
So environment design isn't about aesthetics. It's about protecting the most valuable resource you have, focused attention.
And for English learners specifically, this is actionable immediately. Your phone language, set it to English. Your social feeds, follow English-speaking creators in your field. Your commute, English audio, no exceptions. You are engineering a linguistic environment where English is the default, not the effort.
You're manufacturing immersion without boarding a plane.
That's the fifth power concept, manufactured immersion. The learners who reach C1 fastest are not the ones with the most talent. They're the ones who made it structurally impossible to not be surrounded by the language.
It's environmental leverage. The environment does the heavy lifting, so your willpower doesn't have to.
Skye, conclusion?
All right, here's what we just built. Self-discipline is not a trait. It's an architecture. You start by shifting your identity. Not I'm trying, but I am. You build systems governed by input sovereignty, so your results become statistically predictable. You design those systems to be anti-fragile, so friction strengthens you instead of stopping you. You eliminate cognitive residue from your environment, so your focus stays sharp. And you engineer manufactured immersion, so English stops being a study subject and starts being your operating system.
And every concept we just discussed, identity-based behavior, input sovereignty, anti-fragility, cognitive residue, manufactured immersion, that is the vocabulary of the top 1%, not just in English, in how they think.
If this conversation felt different to you, sharper, more demanding, more real, that's by design. This is English Peak. We don't simplify, we elevate.
Subscribe, because every episode is a strategic asset. We'll see you at the top.